Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you a game you probably already know. If not, hopefully you're not watching this, called The Lost Cities. It's a Rainer game. This one's Cosmos. I think it's been around for longer than I have. You got two types of cards, and what you're doing is going on an expedition to a couple different places. Egypt, volcano, the bottom of the sea, Himalayan mountains, and Central American rainforest. And so what we're doing is we're taking turns in this two-player game, playing cards or discarding cards to build the best expedition, get the most points, and hopefully win, especially when you're playing against your significant other and they're a sore loser. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you some of the cards, the board, which is very simple. You can see the artwork's very nice. You've got some scraps of maps, kind of like a Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones style. You've got your deck of cards, which I'll shuffle these into. You deal a hand of 8 cards to each player, and then play begins. So if you can see here, we've got some cards with little handshakes on them. These are the wager cards. You'll notice there's one in each of the 5 colors. Yellow, we've got the green for the rainforest, and so on. And then we've got numerical cards going from 2 to 10 in each of the 5 colors. And now there's only one of each of the 5 different colors, which is what makes the game challenging. Now, on your turn, you're taking one of 2 very simple actions. You are either playing a card into one of the available rows, and they'll kind of go downwards or away, or you're going to discard a card into one of the central piles. And once you've completed that, you then draw a new card, which you can either take blindly from the top of the deck, which will be off to the side of the board, or from one of the face-up discard piles available to you. The only caveat to that is that if you had just discarded, say, the 5, because you didn't need it for some reason or you didn't want to play it, you can't pick the card back up, so as to say, pass your turn. It needs to stay there. You can pick up a card you discarded on an earlier turn, but not the card you just discarded. So we're going to give the deck a quick shuffle here, and we'll deal out 2 hands, and we'll show you a little bit of Lost Cities. This is really a great 2-player game, because it takes maybe a few minutes to get the hang of, but once you've learned, you're going to want to keep playing until you win. Now you play in 3 rounds, so we're going to put these over here for now. I'll show you my hands. Okay, we've got, oh wow, I'm going to win this one. Make sure I dealt enough. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So on our turns, we're going to be, let's see what we've got over here. Oh, wow. All right. So hopefully I'll forget these hands after every time I put them down. So, on your turn, when you're playing cards, you can make a choice to play a card of any numerical value, low to high, in a row from here out. And now, the scoring system is pretty straightforward. You're going to be playing cards in a row. You're going to possibly have played one of your wager cards first in that row, which will make your row worth a multiplier 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times if you're crazy, even more. Every expedition, which is what these rows symbolize, costs you 20 points just to embark on. You don't have to do all of them. Sometimes you only do 3 or maybe 4. If you do all 5, it's very bold, but hopefully you have a good strategy. So let's say, hypothetically, I was to play this over here to start with. You guys know, not a smart plan. But if I did, I've went on this expedition. We just shook hands, but I've taken somebody's money. So now, whether or not I play any other cards in this row is worth to me, there's no numbers here, negative 20 points at the end of the round. So I want to make sure I'm putting other numbers here. Now, as you play cards into the row, the only rule that you need to remember is that when you play a card, you can never play a lower card than the card you just played. You always have to play higher. And so that will change. So if I went and did this, I've completely excluded every card from 4 to 8 being played in this row, which means that my opponent now knows, okay, these cards are all fair game. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an insight into the game. So we're just going to go ahead and start the wagon here. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to draw a card. Okay, and so play will move on. The opponent will say, All right. I'm feeling pretty good now. See, I didn't know. Oh God, this is gonna get ugly. Okay, so they're gonna do something identical. Now I immediately realize I've made a terrible, terrible mistake. So as game goes on, you're going to say, well, what am I gonna do? Well, I don't need 2 of these. In fact, I probably don't need either of these. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to throw this out. So it'll go in the middle. It's now available to my opponent. I don't know if she has a ton of reds. We can't see into her hands. We can. All right, so now I'm still feeling pretty good, right? Because I don't know. I don't know anything. And so we move on, So we're going in here. And you know what? She says, the heck with it. I'm just going to start. Boom. Oh, God. And I'm immediately starting to regret my life choices here, but that's okay. So we're moving along here. We're moving along. I'll try to speed it up for you. Well, take that. Hopefully I'll get not lucky. Okay. So now I've already committed to this. So this row for me is worth 2 points, sort of. That's what the number is. So that's really how far into the expedition I've gotten. And the pictures will actually kind of be like a zoom in, if you can see here. They'll go from like, that's that. You see this idol, and then we see this guy in the background. Now it's a little bit closer to that guy. It's sort of like painting a nice little watercolor or, picture for you to get to the actual temple of the Aztecs or whatever the heck you're going for. So at the end of the round, the way scoring is going to work is, so we'll do this. I'll put out a fake round here. So my net, and the wager's coming at the end, since I told you every expedition is expensive. You can't just go on an expedition without funding. That's why Indiana Jones always had to go back to the college and see if they'd let him go somewhere, right? Or you gotta have benefactors. That's why the bad guys always have the good weapons. 20 points negative is where I'm starting. Now I've scored 12, which means I'm at -8. Then you double because of the wager. So now I have -16 because of this expedition, which was a very poor choice. Now, see how it flips. If I was to do this, and you're going to say, that's not impressive. Well, everyone's playing the same cards, so you might not have this huge score, unless you play really well, which I do all the time. Over here, you've got 22 points. -20, it's only 2, double it, it's worth 4 points. So white's worth 4. Now, obviously, you're going to have more cards here that you can tap into. Maybe you've got a 5 or a 6 in there. But you're going to get bonus points, which is really tough. I mean, it's not like you're not going to count on it. But if you have 8 cards in a row, wagers included, you're going to get 20 bonus points. So let's say I was to have, a bunch of white cards all down here, 2 wagers and 6 white cards. Not only am I going to wash the cost of my expedition out, I'm going to triple the points in that row. So that's how you're playing along. Now, let's just show you an example of something, similar to, let me get some cards back in my hand here so I can do something crazy. This is not how you play. I'm just trying to give you a little snapshot of something. So let's say on my turn I decided I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that blue wager because it's not likely I'm going to be able to use it. And I can hold on to this 9 for a while because I'll know one of the highest point cards isn't available to my opponent. I may not want to do that, but I do because I'm a jerk. So I'm going to look at her hand and she's going to say, well, okay, I actually decided I want this now. Okay, well, all right. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up into my hand. And whenever you pick stuff up off the board, even if you don't need it, it's a mind game. Because now your opponent's like, hey, wait a minute. I threw that away because it was useless. And now I've hopefully not, but I may have given you something useful. Tough break. Put it down there and play continue. So when the round's over, you're going to total up the points of every row where you had an expedition. So let's say play continued and we just snapshotted here. So we'll just show you a little snippet. Let's pretend that's all I did. And we'll go ahead and give Laura some points here. Go ahead and throw a 5 and an 8 down. And we'll say she was foolish. Okay, she did that, which makes sense. She's very foolish. Okay, so we have my score over here, which we already know. We've got the 22 points. We've got -20. We double it, so we've got 4 points for the Himalayan mountains. We got to this big head in the sky. Don't know how we got there. It seems like probably we walked up this path and then sort of rolled into a ravine and magically we were there. So, but we still accomplished our goal, and who knows if we got home. Over here, we made it pretty far, and we escaped this, well, we've got like a panther guy over here, and this little sleeping, kind of creepy statue there, like Rip Van Winkle the Mayan, and we've got another one over here. So, not a bad spread, we say. 15 points. Oh, wait. 20 negative? So, it's actually negative 10, because I'm doubling that net loss of 5 points. So, all in all, I got a score of -6. Very respectable, very good score. I'm very proud of myself. I don't even want to write it down. Over here, we have a score of 20. So this is a wash completely. She got 0 times 2, which, as we all know, is 0. And over here, oh God, she's negative quite a bit. You've got your -20. She's only scored 8 points. -24. It looks like I've won again. So you've seen a little snippet of gameplay of Lost Cities. Now what'll happen is the round's over. You make some comments, you know, Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones. Hey, I'm the better explorer. No, I am. And then you get some Nathan Drake fans. You know, there's a lot of explorers out there, guys, but this is a great way to explore some fun places, some nice, beautiful artwork. The game is tried and tested and very fun. It plays with 2 players, and it's a great game to just take the board out. And really, I mean, none of this is necessary, but it's nice. It adds to it. Have a fun game with some luck involved, a little bit of card drawing and potential to get the things you're not looking for, but really you can manage that. So there's a lot of tactics. Very important for you to be, you know, mindful of what you have, what your opponent has or seems to be going for. And as you play the same person over and over, much like many 2-player games, you're going to start to learn how they play, and then hopefully they learn how you're learning how they play. So it's this very fun mind game. All in all, excellent game. Rainer does a good job most of the time, we'll say. And yeah, definitely pick it up if you're looking for a 2-player light card tactics game. Very fun. Thanks for watching.